Now on Face the State, the biggest story of 2019 broke wide open this week. A story that has captivated the state, the case of Fotis Dulos. We have former Assistant State's Attorney and current defense attorney Ryan McGuigan with us. Plus, are tolls coming to Connecticut? New information from Keith Faniff of the Connecticut Mirror. And Tuesday is Election Day. We'll meet the candidates in a special election for State Representative Brian Smith and Mark DiCaprio. Could they foreshadow what will happen later in 2020? It's all straight ahead on Face the State this Sunday, January 12th, 2020.
From Eyewitness News, Connecticut's most watched local political program, this is Face the State.
Good morning. We begin with the biggest story of 2019, now the biggest of 2020 so far, a case that has captured national attention with several Connecticut communities as backdrops to this drama. The case of accused murderer Fotis Dulos. And with us here today, former Assistant State's Attorney and Defense Attorney Ryan McGuigan, one of the state's great legal minds, they say. I'm going to say it. Good to have you with us here, Ryan.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Why do you think this story continues to captivate people's attention, more so than other cases?
Because it's violence and money, and that always captivates people's attention. When you have, unfortunately, if this case involved a bunch of people that didn't come from money, I doubt it would get the attention that it does. But that's just the world that we live in, and so when you have those two things intertwine, people can't not watch.
We learned so much from the arrest warrants that were released this week. Why do you think it was that the arrest finally took place?
I think when they finally wrapped up the Kent Mawhinney angle, because when we had spoke earlier this week when we were live on TV, we didn't really know that third component was at play, and obviously they had to play out what Mr. Mawhinney, they alleged Mr. Mawhinney was doing in furtherance of this conspiracy.
And this is him right here.
Correct, and they had to go into June, July, and August to piece that part of the case and put it into their theory of what actually happened.
He's with his attorney Lee Gold in that video that we just saw. So there are three principals involved in this case right now in terms of the suspects, and they are Fotis Dulos, Michelle Troconis, the girlfriend,
yes,
the Argentinian paramour, as she's referred to in some of these documents, these divorce documents, and of course Kent Mawhinney. When are we going to see a trial?
I would say you're probably going to see a trial. If you're expecting to see one within 2020, that would, I doubt it. I'd say it would be early 2021, somewhere around there, or perhaps next September, November on an accelerated path.
Let's put on your prosecutor cap for just a moment here and look at some of the evidence that's been presented by prosecutors. At least 20 pieces of evidence found in those trash bags dumped in Hartford's North End by people who resembled, they say, Fotis Dulos and Michelle Troconis. Prosecutors say that's them in the pickup truck doing this, but there's no actual clear picture of them doing it. How strong is that evidence?
It's the evidence in the case, in all circumstantial cases, as one piece of evidence in and of itself, by itself, is not particularly damning. 207 of them is particularly damning because, again, you can allege reasonable doubt with one piece of evidence or another piece of evidence, but when there's 300 of them, the jury just gets tired of your constant explanations of how this could possibly be explained, and they just literally will start rolling their eyes.
Police and prosecutors have said, and the medical examiner, they believe Jennifer Dulos is dead because of the amount of blood that was found at the scene. They believe that she suffered an unsurvivable wound, yet there is no body. So that would seem to help the defense case, correct?
It would. You always, if you could have the most perfect evidence in a case as a prosecutor, then you would never lose any. But we don't have, as prosecutors, they don't have perfect evidence. A lot of evidence is spoiled. A lot of evidence turns on eyewitness identifications. A lot of evidence turns on human analysis, and that in and of itself, because it's human, is flawed. And so you can poke little holes into it as a seasoned defense attorney can.
The defense has questioned whether she's still alive. But how does a person vanish from society without any trace at all?
Well, it's not just the medical examiner didn't rely just on the blood. It's also that it's now been 6 or 7 months and there is no financial transactions by Jennifer Dulos. That taken with the blood in the garage and all of the physical evidence does indicate that she is no longer alive, because people have to eat. So therefore, that's why they're looking into the financial transactions that she had a credit card pay. How could you possibly live for the past 6 or 7 months? Nobody's heard from her. Based on all that, they say she's deceased.
How long do you think this trial will last? Judging on what you know now.
Judging on what I know, it's not a very difficult trial. There's not a tremendous amount. To present the arrest warrant affidavit is not very lengthy, as was pointed out by Attorney Pattis, and so there's not a lot of material evidence outside of the DNA in the strips in the blood. So you'll have an expert for the state saying that is obviously her blood and his blood. You will have an expert from the defense saying, well, it's a mixture, but really the key piece of information will be that if it is Fotis Dulos' blood at her home, the key argument will be is that it could have reasonably been placed there prior to the date that she disappeared.
Let's talk about the two key legal figures in this case, and that is Rich Colangelo. He is the state's attorney in the case, and then we have Norm Pattis. What do you know about both of them?
I've known them both for 25 years. I've known Attorney Colangelo as a former prosecutor. He was actually my mentor. We worked together in Norwalk, and I've known Attorney Pattis for 20 years. Both of them are extremely well respected in the bar, and will proceed professionally with this case and to a resolution.
Do you think there'll be a trial of all three together, or will the three suspects be tried separately?
It is always the hope as a prosecutor that in a conspiracy case that you have one or two people who will sit next to you at a trial, and that the rest of the co-conspirators will roll over on them, for lack of a better term. And that is what I'm sure they're hoping in this case, that Ms. Troconis and Attorney McGuigan find it in their best interest to cooperate against Mr. Dulos.
You explained it very well earlier this week on Eyewitness News, but just for our viewers, for Face the State who are joining us today, in terms of that conspiracy charge, what does that exactly mean? What are prosecutors suggesting that Michelle Troconis and Kent McGuigan did?
They're suggesting that the two of them must have had prior knowledge of Mr. Dulos' plan. His alleged plan. There's all allegations, but his alleged plan prior to him committing it. If they didn't, then there would be accessories after the fact. They're not alleging that. They're alleging that, no, they knew full well what Mr. Dulos was doing prior to May the 24th.
And they could have come forward.
And they could have done something to stop it, correct?
Ryan McGuigan, former state prosecutor and defense attorney, we thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you very much.
In a moment, tolls. Are they coming this year? Later. Tuesday is election day for some people in Connecticut. We'll preview a race that could have repercussions for November. And we welcome you to watch past editions of Face the State right now on our app or our YouTube channel. We'll be right back.